the biggest story to me that's going on right now is this stuff with Iran, our latest dose of war propaganda, and the what's going on right now, which I gotta say, I mean, I've heard some people say, like there was one person who posted in the Part of the Problem Inner Circle and said something to the effect of, you don't want to seem like conspiracy theorists, or libertarians can't be conspiracy theorists. Like, you don't want to always just say, oh, this is bullshit, this is a false flag or something like that, because, we don't know what happened. And, he's like, I don't want to go to war with Iran either, but maybe Iran did do this or something like that. Listen, this is bullshit. This is absolutely bullshit. And it's, I mean, it's just after a while, when you have all of these people fucking lying about all of these things to get us into the conflicts that they want to, number one, that's at least enough to err on the side of not trusting them when they tell us these things. But on top of that, this is it's just got bullshit written all over it. Bullshit written all over it. So there were two ships that were attacked on the Gulf of Oman in Iran, or around Iran, and the ships were, one of them was owned by, it was a Japanese owned ship, and the other one I think was delivering goods to Taiwan or something like that. I don't know. They came from Saudi Arabia. They got lit up in the in the Gulf of Oman. Now, right away, of course, the fucking John Bolton and Mike Pompeo, the two, most dangerous, evil human beings right now in the Trump administration, were both like, it's Iran, we know it's Iran. We got the U.S. Navy looked at it. We saw a fucking mine on one of the ships. It's got to be Iran. They're the only ones with the sophistication to do this, right? Now, of course, I got to just say, it's exactly like the stuff with Assad. Well, it's got to be Assad. It's the only logical thing. It's the only way this could work is it's got to be Assad. Well, okay, much like the example with Assad, where at first you're like, well, we have to just believe our overlords because they always, even though they've been wrong the last 72 times in a row, this time they're telling us they're definitely right this time. So obviously we have to trust them. It's like, okay, but here's the problem with your story. It's not like when they said that Assad committed that chemical attack, the last one, a year and a half ago or whatever it is now, it wasn't just that Assad didn't have a clear motive to do this. It was that every motive would be against him doing this. This would be absurd. It would be, as I said on S.E. Cup's show, I said, this would be what you're claiming that Assad did this. I said, this would be the biggest military strategic blunder in modern history. What you're telling me timeline is here. And by the way, and then of course we see this evidence come out more recently that kind of proves me right. But it's like, that's the trouble with all this stuff, is like me and S.E. Cup will have this like one-on-one face off, and I'm like, at the time, in real time, I'm like, he did not do this. Assad didn't do this. And she's like, that's crazy. That's outrageous to even imply. But you never have the like, then other things move on and no one really cares anymore. And then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you were right. It wasn't Assad. But we have to go in for these other reasons. But so you're telling me that Donald Trump, after years, right? So this was in 2018, and Donald Trump, so the Civil War broke out in 2012. So 6 years into a bloody civil war where hundreds of thousands of people have died, Bashar al-Assad has fought tooth and nail to not go out. And don't get it twisted, Bashar al-Assad is fighting for his life and the life of his families. This is no joke to him. And that people can say he conducted the war in brutal fashion. It's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. When ISIS would take over a town, Bashar al-Assad would fucking slaughter people in that town. He's like, I don't got time to figure out who's ISIS and who's not, and a whole lot of innocent civilians did die at his hands. Now, it's ridiculous to put all of the 500,000 deaths on him, especially when the US and the Saudis, the CIA and the Saudis started the fucking war. But no question, he did conduct the war, prosecute the war in brutal fashion. No question about that. And you can certainly talk about the moral implications of killing innocent people. But don't get it twisted, what he's fighting for. He's fighting to not be Muammar Gaddafi. You know, that like...
Yeah, he wants to keep his balls.
Yes. Wants to keep his balls and keep things out of his butthole. I don't know if you've ever been...
in his butthole too?
He was fucking sodomized by a mob with like a fucking, like, I forget what they used. Some fucking blunt object.
Like a flag?
No, it wasn't a flag. I think it was something a little more Muslim-y.
Oh,
you know?
Okay.
But yeah, you know, you're fighting to not be dragged through the streets and ripped apart by an angry mob. So yes, he's conducting the war like that. So he's been fighting for 6 fucking years. This brutal struggle to not go down like that. Then Donald Trump comes out and goes, you know what? We're leaving. Assad, aka Assad, you win. The regime change is off. Guess what? You're not going to be fucking fighting. You're not going to be torn apart and sodomized to death and have your fucking balls chopped off on national television. That's not going to fucking happen to you. Congratulations, after all this fighting, you won. And then Assad goes, well, you know what? I'm feeling a little froggy. For no strategic advantage at all, I'm just going to do the one thing that will jeopardize all of that. I'm just going to gas a few dozen people just so literally do the one thing that would provoke the international community to come back in and relaunch
That's
this
how
war.
you show them you were really boss the whole time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it's you know, so just on its face where you would go, it's actually unthinkable that this would go against any sense of what, like, their motives for doing this would be absolutely, like, it would just be insane. So the onus is kind of on you to actually have some evidence. And they had none. They had no evidence that Assad actually used chemical weapons on these people. None. So if all of the circumstantial evidence and all of the motives are like if the motive is completely missing, and there's a group of people who clearly want this war and have lied over and over and over again. And in fact, John Bolton is actually on record saying that he's okay with them lying. I completely forgot about this clip. I think I retweeted it. Actually, Brian, could you just pull up my Twitter and see? Let me just check, because I think this is I believe I retweeted the great Ron Paul, who tweeted this out the other day. I'm just double checking to make sure that I did in fact retweet it. Yes, if you just go look at my Twitter, it's like the third thing there. It's the Ron Paul tweet. Do you see that? Yeah, let's play that clip. No, it's on my Twitter. Yeah, up there at the top.
Here of Bolton in his own name. He's talking. Well, we have a video here of Bolton in his own name. He's talking to our friend the judge, where he's saying just that. Hey, no problem. I'll lie us into war.
Now, I want to make the case for secrecy in government when it comes to the conduct of national security affairs, and possibly for deception where that's appropriate. You know, Winston Churchill said during World War II that in wartime, truth is so important it should be surrounded by a bodyguard of lies.
Do you really believe that?
Absolutely.
You would lie in order to preserve the truth?
If I had to say something I knew was false to protect American national security, I would do it.
A thought comes to my mind listening to this.
Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to play that clip just to give you a sense of who we're actually dealing with. Like, who the people in there actually are and what their guiding principles are. Not only that, he would, you almost want to like be like, hey, Johnny Bolton, if you're so comfortable with lying,
now's a
maybe,
good moment.
yeah, now would be a good time to lie. Like, don't tell people this, man. Are you insane? Sometimes you think of it, it's like, do you want a revolution in this country? Like, that is amazing why are you telling the truth now if you're so opposed to the truth? But here he is on record, comfortably saying, this is the head of national intelligence saying, right, excuse me, the national security advisor saying right to the public, yes, I will lie you into war. I will do that. So now's the same guy saying this. Now, cut to this Iran situation. What possible motive would Iran have to attack a Japanese ship? Iran has, because of U.S. sanctions, very few trading partners left. And Japan is one of them. They've been having some real economic tough times because of our sanctions, and because Donald Trump got us out of the deal and put all the sanctions back into effect. It's like the idea that they're going to, while the Japanese prime minister is in Iran, attack his ship with no clear motive. Okay, fine. So the liars, the admitted liars, are telling us that this happened, but the motive makes no sense. It's like, okay, so here's my next question. What evidence do you have? Where's the evidence? Nothing. They've given us nothing. So I'm sorry. This smells like bullshit. And that's what I'm sticking to. I mean, look, do any of us know for absolute certain what happened? I guess not. Not right now. But I think it's fair to start from the perspective of this is fucking bullshit. It's so coincidental that it just happens to be the country that they've wanted us, that they've wanted to get us into war with. So coincidental, right? It's like you see, like even just a few weeks ago when we had Scott Horton on, and they were, like all the war drums were beating, and now it's like, oh, and then this just happened to happen, and then the other angle that's just so weird is like that it wasn't even American ships, but they're already like, and this is an act of war against America, because we can't just live in a world where ships get attacked. Anyway, by the way, no one died. No one died in any of these. I think there was one guy who was injured. So everybody just let's fucking cool it and just let's see what evidence comes to light going forward. But I promise you guys, you're not going to find any evidence that this was around. They're not going to present any of it because they don't have it.
Will they ever bust that it was a government organization trying to make it seem like it was Iran?
Well, look, let's just say this. I mean, the ships were coming from Saudi Arabia, from what I understand. And again, just like the thing with Assad, where I go, this is far more likely to have been a staged attack or an attack by the
Houthis?
Well, not the Houthis. They're in Yemen. But this would be a
but the
staged
Houthis
attack.
just got the Saudi Arabian airport, didn't they? Wasn't that a thing?
Yes, well, that's a separate thing. But I was saying with the Assad
Yeah.
thing, it was way more likely to be fucking the rebels,
Right?
Because there's a clear motive. It's like to get the international military community back into Syria. No, I don't think this would be the Houthis. I mean, this would do nothing but hurt Iran, which are
But I guess it could
somewhat
just be
friendly.
the old Al Qaeda play of just try and get them into war, just sucker them into wasting money at war.
Yeah, I
Could
mean,
be
look,
that.
I guess theoretically it's possible.
Yeah.
But what's far more likely to me is that this was Saudi Arabia to get it, because they're the ones who really want to see America go to war with Iran.
Right.
That's my guess.
How come they never prove that shit? Because they don't really want to.
Well, it's not like, I mean, some of the stuff does get proved. I mean, the Saudis...
But it happens 20 years later.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and no one gives a shit anymore. I mean, look, there are things like, it's been pretty conclusively proven that the war in Libya was complete lies. And it's not like just proven, it's not just that Scott Horton is telling you and I'm telling you that this happened or something. And don't get me wrong, we're right about everything. And I'm right mostly because I repeat everything Scott says. But there's like the British Parliament held an investigation and determined that it was all bullshit in Libya. Like the idea that Gaddafi was about to go genocidal, like all these excuses to get in, it was all bullshit.
But the people are much better off. I
Well,
mean, that's
right.
what they were saying,
Yes.
is that if we just got rid of him, there would be stability.
So
and...
everything about it was complete lies. And because of that, you have a nation that was just destroyed. And now we know there's lies. It's like, so what are we going to do now? It's like, it's nothing. We'll still call Obama scandal-free Obama. Like, so they find these things out, but it just never quite, results in any type of corrective action or anything.